Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All right, Donnie and Dolly presented by Able Auctions. Able Auctions are our title sponsor. On Thursday, Able will sell the contents of a large trade show exhibit company with high-end wood shop, sign shop, hundreds of crates of trade show furniture, and a lot more. Did you write this, Ryan? Like, honestly. Everything sold to the highest bidder.
Jeremy Dodd did, so be very careful.
Be careful.
I was wondering if you wrote it or not, because it's excellent.
Yeah.
Everything sold to the highest bidder, including a 2-story modular trade show pavilion, a Hebrock edge banding machine, or Hebrock. Rick, look that up for me.
What's the thing on the left?
It's a building, actually. Yeah.
That's not for sale.
Panel saws, I'm not sure. It looks like a bar.
No, it looks like a riverboat.
Yeah, it does kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe they are auctioning off a riverboat.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
sure.
keep reading and maybe you'll know.
Panel saws and table saws, a Roland Soljet Pro. John Shannon, you listening to any of this? Pro 74-inch sign printer and Graphtec vinyl cutter. Thousands of items all sold to the highest bidder Thursday, October 13th. Apparently they have a riverboat for sale as well. For info on this auction, go to ableauctions.ca, ableauctions.ca. I shouldn't say for sale, but up for auction. John Shannon joins us now from the Bob McCowan podcast. How are you, sir?
I'm well. By the way, what a novel concept of at an auction selling to the highest bidder.
Ooh. Yeah, it is.
What a novel concept.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who's writing this stuff?
Well,
again, I dare you to write one to say we're going to give it to the lowest.
Oh, now there's an auction I'd show up at.
Right. By the way, just a minute, just high-end graphics again today, guys. High-end graphics.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, we are live.
We are live. Okay.
We are live.
We're live.
John, Abbott, I noticed you tweeted something out about, or retweeted an Oilers tweet regarding Connor McDavid signing autographs in Abbotsford last night. Can you put into words like what it's like for people who haven't seen it, because I think it's bucket list, what it's like to see Connor McDavid live, and could you imagine seeing him live in a venue like Abbotsford last night?
Well, I'll tell you what, it takes me back to the days my parents were kind enough to drive us 60 miles to Kelowna at the old Kelowna Memorial Arena to see an all-star of NHLers, and there sitting right in front of me on the bench and signing autographs all night long was Bobby Hull.
Yeah.
And when you're 9 years old and you get to see stars that close to you, I mean, you don't forget. It all started from a conversation we had on our show with Wayne Gretzky on Monday. And I asked him, I said, do you think Connor understands his role in the game? And he said, yeah, I think he does. Because Wayne talked about consciously how Gordie taught him. And when Gordie passed, that Wayne said, I have to take that mantle now. And Connor and some of the young stars, Austin Matthews and Nathan McKinnon, they're the ones that now have to carry it in the National Hockey League. And when you do see him, he didn't have to play in Abbotsford last night.
Yeah.
He didn't have to, but he did because it was for a new fan base. And it really reinforces that I think these guys do have a connection with the fans, do understand. I mean, we don't have access, Donnie, and Rick, you may remember, when the Canucks parked outside the Coliseum, you saw them all the time. You could touch them, and that doesn't happen anymore. That doesn't happen anymore. No. Security, special elevators, special parking lots.
Yep.
Yeah.
What Connor did last night, I think, is really important. The Maple Leafs, just as an aside, the Maple Leafs are up in what people in Ontario call cottage country. We wouldn't call it cottage country in BC. It's not near as nice as BC. But they're skating in front of 600 or 700 school kids the next 2 days, and it's magical.
Yeah.
Magical stuff. That's outreach. That's what should happen in our game, and it doesn't happen enough.
And guess what happens to those school kids? They get older, they become adults, they have jobs, and they buy tickets and they watch hockey games on TV. It all works.
Or they mortgage our house in Toronto to buy tickets.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's a lot better in Vancouver. Hey, you mentioned your conversation with Wayne Gretzky earlier this week. What other than what you said about Connor McDavid, what stood out?
I think what really stood out, and we got a lot of comments about it, is Wayne's at a point in his life where he's really happy, and he's really comfortable in his skin, and he's really enjoying television. And I think he also understands that it's more than just sitting on a chair and talking. You do have to do research. You do have to talk to people, which you guys know. And once Rick's off the phone, he'll know that. I do think that he understands in so many ways that he still has a role to play in the game, and he still loves the game so much. He watches as much hockey as the rest of us do, and we think we need to watch every game in the National Hockey League. Wayne's watching 3 games a night too.
John, I would love to ask Wayne about Hockey Canada and what's going on, and sponsors are pulling out now. Quebec is pulled out now. BC's thinking about it. Manitoba's thinking about it. Simply, John, what a mess.
Well, and I don't know Andrea Skinner at all. I've never met her. She didn't help.
No, at all.
She didn't help.
At all.
And so really, and I listened to you guys talk about it in the previous segment, and I was a father of a minor hockey player too.
Yep.
And there's parents have a responsibility, and the volunteers the great volunteers across our country do so much to try to make the place safe and a place of fun and learning. But what Andrea said in the hearings via Zoom, it didn't resonate. This is not a time. This is not a time to be arrogant. This is a time to be compassionate. This is a time to be empathetic. This is a time to understand that the country's in conflict. And at the same time, there are people at Hockey Canada that are my friends, that I dearly love. I feel for them, because the real issue goes back to London in 2018. Yeah. We've lost a bit of the storyline here in trying to get rid of and discuss what's wrong with Hockey Canada, rather than the crime that was committed. And that's a concern to me. I'd really like to wait until the justice comes down with his findings. But there are a lot of people out there finding out more and more every day, and that I think becomes so concerning as well.
John, I've read 2 articles in the past week that think that Bruce Boudreau could be in trouble if he doesn't get off to a good start. He didn't get the vote of confidence. He didn't get the extension. Where do you think Rutherford's patience level will be with Bruce this year?
Jimmy doesn't like to fire guys.
Yeah.
Jimmy doesn't like to fire guys. Jimmy understands this game. Jimmy understands the patience. I remember standing with him at an arena one day, and they were not playing very well when he was the manager in Pittsburgh, and there was a lot of flack going on with Mike Johnson, who he had hired as the coach. And there were, people calling for Johnson's head. And Jimmy said, hey, listen, we there's lots of other things going on in this organization than what the coach can't control. And we have to be better at that. So Bruce in trouble? Seriously, come on. That's poppycock. That's not going to happen. The one thing that between patience and honor, that's Jim Rutherford to me. And his word to Boudreau is, listen, we have a contract, and if the team is successful, Bruce will get another contract. This is I think sometimes I'm guilty of it too. I think sometimes we talk about stuff and make up stories just so that we can fill time. And Bruce Boudreau, with what his record was in Vancouver last season, will certainly have the full season to make things work out. The bigger issue for me is, particularly after the Barzell signing and after the Robertson signing, What's Bo going to get? That's the biggest story. That's the biggest story. What's Bo going to get?
And what is he going to get? I've been hearing for weeks and weeks it's going to be in the 7s. It's not going to be in the 6s. And so now Couturier is at 7-7. I don't think the Canucks want to go to 7-7. What's a number that you think, John, that Bo is going to end up? Or else, look, if it's not done by the deadline, John, I mean, it could get a very big decision coming.
Yeah, but I mean, we said that about JT Miller last summer too, or last spring too. I think the Robertson signing to me is a little more telling. Yeah. He scored more goals than Bo. He's younger than Bo. I mean, Bo Horvat is a valuable commodity to the Canucks, and if you told me he was signing for $695, I would buy it every day of the week.
Every day.
We're going to save that poppycock comment. And if Boudreau gets fired, we're going to shove it right in your face.
Yeah. You know what? And by the way, I'm used to that. I work with Bob McCowan every day. I'm used to having it just right in my face every day. By the way, and if you guys keep that up, I'm going to want to go on with Linda and Jody tonight at 8:00 rather than on with you guys.
Hey, I do that too.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
I'm sure that that Steele and Vance are more fun than you two guys.
Oh, guaranteed. That's not saying much, John.
We know they're better looking.
Yeah. Again, not saying much.
You can't talk about things like that anymore, Rick.
That's right. Yeah.
You can't.
Oh,
you
right.
Can't talk
That.
about
Yeah.
You know what we can talk. We can talk about very quickly, John. Go Mariners, right? Let's go Seattle, right? No.
What are you smoking out there?
Thank you.
I know it's legal.
Yeah.
But what are you smoking?
Well,
come on.
Yeah. There's a long list.
It's going to be a hell of a series. That's all I can tell you. It is going to be a whale of a series. It's too bad it's only 3 games, and quite frankly, it only could be 2.
Yeah. Seattle sweep. You're right. Thanks, John.
I have to go downtown tonight.
Yeah.
People are going to say you're picking the Mariners.
You're from BC. Come on.
Yeah, I know. There's only one team in Canada. There's only one team in Canada.
I know. We hear about it all the time.
The Mariners don't wear a maple leaf, boys. Come on.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next week I'll fight. If the Lions beat the Argos, I might have to sing the Lions song. So.
Okay. That interview.
I might be the only guy. I might be the only guy in the stadium on Saturday.
Thank you.
By the way, so.
Oh gosh, we were just talking about that in the break. Hey, John, we got a break. We got to get going here. Thanks so much. Great conversation.